So that's not as up to date, but I know there's a way you could probably how do you say it's like see what's in production, see the company that's doing that production, and somehow get the address and sending your stuff to them, like hard copies to them, and that's another way to also apply for the jobs.
Thank you, Anthony. Our next question is from Autumn, I believe, or basically Autumn asks, are there any books you recommend that have been useful to you? What are the art books / regular books you couldn't live without for inspiration, reference, etc.?
Yeah, definitely. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Definitely the Animal Studies book. That's like one of my favorite books. It's just a bunch of black and white sketches that seems like he used graphite and gray paper with gouache on top, or even watercolor. But it's a good reference in seeing how this guy just created his visual language to describe the forms of the animals. So it's kind of stylized, but it's still pretty realistic. But you learn a lot from just how he handles fur, or he handles structure. So it's Animal Studies, 550 Illustrations of Mammals, Birds, Fish, and Insects by M. Mehut.
Well, if anything, I would say, can you send me a link to that, and that way I can add it to our site's extra section.
Okay. I could also, on my blog, I could also post up my inspirational books and stuff. So.
Oh, actually, that would be perfect as well. So yeah, check out Anthony's blog. He'll add it there for you guys. Are there any other other references, things that you can't live without? Like you just have to have these things at all times to inspire you or help you create art.
There really is a lot of books, but if it's not just, it's a lot of anime books that I like. But something that you can't live without, I like all my books. I don't think I could live without any of my. I need all my books. But okay, let me try to think. What? Well, for character stuff, it's called Athlete by Howard Schatz. That is an awesome book because it shows a bunch of different athletic builds, and it's all front view kind of shots. So so it's just a variety of different body types, which is really cool. And more animal books would be, there's this book called Beast, B-E-S-T, and that's this awesome wildlife painter. That's really, he really captures the epicness of the African wilderness and the animals that roam around there. Really awesome stuff. That's a really thick book. It's kind of expensive, but to me it's worth it. And there's another book called I'm trying to look for it here, but I don't remember the name.
Well, actually, then don't worry about it. We can check out your blog when you update it later. And again, we have a link to his blog on the CGMW website to basically go there and check out his reference collection. Our next question actually is from Art S. Art asked, hi Anthony, thank you very much for your workshop. I want to know if you ever have developed some creatures that are not based on bones and muscles, and how to approach this kind of alien creature.
I did actually. I had done some stuff for Tabula Rasa on trying to come up with an alien being, that's not that hasn't been seen. Trying to come up with something really unique. But sometimes it's difficult. But hold on, let me think this through. So you're saying no bones, like octopuses, stuff like that, or are you saying no referenced creatures, like something totally different?
Art, if you're there, could you answer that possibly? Like, are you referring to more like cephalopods and or insects, for example? And while Art is answering, I'll just say he says bones like human and animals. So
Okay,
I want
I
to know
see.
if you've ever developed some creatures that are not based on bones like humans and
Bones.
animals.
Here's an example I did for Tabula rasa. This on my site. So this is more. It's still based on animals. I guess this is like a jellyfish, right? It has no
Like
bones,
an
but it still has
invertebrate, basically, yeah.
yeah, it still has structure. Um, but it would be difficult to design something that has no structure at all, unless it's like a blobby kind of amoebic type thing, and that has its own like visual language, right? But usually, if it's for your portfolio to get work stuff, it's always good to have a variety of stuff and not just one structured, kind of biped creature. You should have four, 6 legs, and four wings, yeah. Just so there's a variety in your work. Um, but I think this is the closest that I guess I designed something with no bone structure at all. Did that answer the question?
Um, I think it did. Art, if you are still there, he says yes, thank you. So that's
Okay.
perfect. We have a couple offline questions for you for people that actually couldn't make it to the live Q&A.
Okay.
Carlos asked, is there a specific color palette you like to start your sketches with?
No, nothing really. Just I go black and white first. Sometimes I do color when I could see the color I want to use. But usually color palette just comes from nature. So if I see it in nature, then that's the palette I'm going to use for the creature. Um, uh, Unless, of course, it's specifically asked by the art director, or you're trying to find a visual guide. If you're establishing a visual key for your creature, then that will need like further experimentation in which colors work. But there's the no, there's the usual uh, color theory palettes that people have. The complement, split complementary, and stuff like that, which you could also use. But I think the best teacher would be from life. So nature's the best designer. So the colors that they use, you just use the same colors in your creatures.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. Our next question is from Kathy. She asks, what is the project that you have found the most interesting to work on so far?
I don't know. Every project I've worked on, I could say I'm more of a really positive kind of guy. So every project I've worked on, I'm always excited to work on it because it's always a challenge to do something unique for that particular project, and to make sure that that when you see this creature, you think of that game or that movie. Sometimes it's not. When I say what I mean by unique is not really different. It's more like being memorable, because sometimes being uh, uh, familiar is what makes your successful design. Is something that's familiar to people, but then has your own spin on it, so then people remember it. So I guess that's the challenge you get from every project. But I guess if I would choose a project that I worked on, that overall, aside from the subject matter and the people I work with, I guess Project Offset, I can't even say, because I really enjoyed work at NCSoft and all the people I've met in special effects. So uh, I don't have a favorite. I love them all. So
Okay, that's good. By the way, Norman Lee says, hi, Anthony. That's all he said.
Hello.
He didn't have a
Yeah, we
question.
do.
I guess just they're watching.